to introduce Meredith Elton, our guest speaker for this morning. Meredith is a dance therapist and community arts facilitator. I was reading she's been involved in devising, performing and choreographing in a wide range of dance and physical theatre performances, including Melbourne International Arts Festival, I believe, and Zen Zen Zo Physical Theatre, and Next Wave Theatre as well, so quite a background by the looks of it. Meredith's up here today to talk for the next 15-20 minutes or so with regard to the voluntary project she's got underway, but I'll let her explain all that to you all, so please welcome Meredith. Thank you.
Hello, good morning. Thank you for having me here. Let's get the technology organised. Thanks, Jim. So as Mark just said, I'm a dance therapist and I have a background as a dance artist, so I have worked dancing and choreographing mainly down in Melbourne before I moved up here about 5 years ago. And now I'm shifting more my interest into working as a dance therapist and facilitating community art events. So helping everyone to get up and moving because it's such a fantastic community building and personal growth experience to get up and dance. I'll just talk a little bit about my work and what I do, and then I'll move on and talk about the volunteer project that I'm involved in East Timor with the organisation Many Hands International. So I'll talk a little bit about the organisation, the work they're already doing there, and then move on and talk about the project that I'll be working on in Timor. This is a picture of a group that I'm currently facilitating on the Gold Coast. So I run dance therapy and creative movement groups for people like you and me to get up and moving, to find their own movement as a form of expression, as a form of physical well-being, of building social relationship and building community. How many people in the room dance in some form, in their living rooms or in classes or... Fantastic. So I'm sure all of you know how amazing dancing can be in whatever form it is that you do, and how therapeutic and healing that the potential of dance has as well. I forgot my notes, sorry. So that's another picture from a group that I'm currently facilitating. So I work one-on-one with people therapeutically, and I also work with groups of people. And I also facilitate a community outdoor, all ages, drug and alcohol free dance event down on the southern Gold Coast. So that's at Kira Hill. I don't know if anyone knows Kira Hill. It's an amazing old school building that's been bought and renovated by the Gold Coast City Council, and it's absolutely stunning. If you haven't checked it out, it's really worth going down and looking at the heritage value of it. So we run an outdoor dance event there for, I think the oldest person we had was 70, down to little tiny tots running around. It's a really fantastic night, so we're doing that regularly through the year as well. And there's just a few slides of that so you can get a bit of an idea. That's our fantastic DJ lined up there. Just the cliff actually drops away just behind, and you have this fantastic view up the coast. So it's a really stunning spot. And our lovely little organic food vendor that comes along. And it's a bit dark, but there's a really big lot of energy at the end of the night. We have a little opening circle to bring some intention and just to connect people. And then we have a really facilitated dance space that supports everyone to get up and moving, even if you're a little bit shy about dancing. This is a performance I was involved with at the Currumbin Eco Village. I'm 4 years into PhD research into community performance, and it was based at, or is based at the Currumbin Eco Village, and I've been looking at the relationship between my dance practice and that site and community. So I've been running dance workshops or movement workshops for people in the community, and doing interviews and talking to people about their experience in those workshops. And then this is a summer solstice performance and candlelit vigil that we held, or I facilitated with the community members. So there was a performance there, that's me lying down. And then I get up and do some dancing. And then we all had candles and went through a walk through this area that they'd just replanted in the eco-village, and had a little spot where we placed those candles. And people spoke later about what an amazing experience that was, because it enabled, one man spoke of that his mother had passed about 4 months earlier, and it actually gave him an opportunity to just have a silent walk and acknowledge and let go. And another woman spoke about that was the first time she'd actually slowed down and could acknowledge the big move that her and her family had just made from Western Australia to arrive in the eco-village, and that allowed her to have space and time just to walk and acknowledge and process that a little bit. So I'm very interested in performance and dance when it actually provides a container for community experience, for emotional connection, for a place to feel and connect to ourselves and each other. And that's the little candle circle that people were placing their candles in. So that's a little bit about me and the work that I do. I hope that gives you some idea of where I'm coming from. This is the project that I'm actually involved with in Timor-Leste, or East Timor, and it's with an organisation called Many Hands International, which is a not-for-profit registered in Australia. They've started up in 2007, I think, and most of their work so far has been based in Timor. So just a little geography. Timor is one of our closest neighbours, just off the top of Darwin there. It's about an hour out of Darwin by plane, and obviously it's the east end of the island. The other end is officially part of Indonesia. So it's a population of about 1 million people, and it just came into nationhood officially in 2002. So it's one of the youngest nation in Asia. Has anyone been to East Timor? One person, two people? Three. Well, it's my first time. I've been to Indonesia, but I haven't been to Timor. And as many of you probably know, it's a country that has had a very, very challenging history. It's had 400 years under colonial occupation from the Portuguese. And just as they were coming into independence in 1975, they were invaded by Indonesia and occupied for the next quarter of a century. Very brutally, about a third of the population actually died during that occupation, so about 200,000 people as a direct result of that occupation through starvation and genocide and through massive displacement of the community. And as you can see, that challenging history is evident in some of these current development statistics for the country. So out of 139 countries, it pretty much gets in the bottom 130 for all of those. And also in terms of the highest fertility rate, very high maternal infant mortality and maternal mortality rate, and more than 50% of children are undernourished. So yeah, it's our closest neighbour, and it's also one of the poorest countries in the world. So Many Hands International is a not-for-profit based in Australia that does cultural development work in Timor. So they have a cultural assets-based approach to community development. So instead of focusing on the economics or the social side, their main kind of focus is around building and strengthening the community's culture. And one way I think about this, when people sort of say, well, why would you go into a community struggling to get back on its feet after massive